The fiddle yard alone on David Townend's McKinley Road is larger than most people's entire layout. Yet 10 or more trains run automatically through a combination of simple DCC principles, the Digitrax LocoNet architecture, and a cheap piece of computer software. Let's begin by taking a tour of the layout in the company of David himself.
It exists in the top floor of my house. I spent ages trying to find a property where I could put a railway in the top floor, not in an attic, not in a garage. I could walk around and just enjoy it. And out here you can see the fiddle yard. This here feeds the whole of the layout. All the trains are basically dispatched by the computer from here out around to various locations on the layout, and they'll also come back and fed in here. The system is entirely controlled by computer, and it's an enjoyable thing to see. So come on through and have a look at the rest of the layout. What we have here is Manchester. It's a full terminus that can take trains of up to 8 coaches, and there are 4 lines in this terminus. It's all have lighting controlled in there. We spent ages getting things like buses and things that are appropriate for the area. It's also got a small sort of city centre goods yard with a reception and dispatch line, and a fully functional engine shed with operating turntable. If you're a train driver and you take trains from this station, you've got to obey the signals and lights all the way through the line. Behind Manchester up here, we have what effectively is almost like a signalman's view of the layout. The top line is the western region from London, the London terminus over there, all the way through up to Birmingham. And this line here, the London Midland region, goes from Birmingham up to Manchester. These 4 signalman's boards are a very important function for everybody on the layout because it allows them to see where their train is and what the signal ahead of them is. As a driver on this layout, it's very hard to know where all the signals are, especially when the train is dancing around and jumping from one side of the room to the other. The driver can see ahead of him the state of the points because they're specifically marked, and also the block sections are lit up as the train goes through each section. So the driver can see his signal, what the route he's going to take, and where he is on the layouts. Over here we have a sort of a representative exchange sidings somewhere in the western region between London and Birmingham. Here you would be expected to receive trains, goods trains, do some manipulation with them, take them into sidings, exchange trucks back out, and then get a train ready for dispatch according to a timetable in a similar method that you would be doing at Manchester. I'll now take you and show you some other aspects of the layout. The next area that I'm going to show you is the aisle in front of the window. On the left-hand side here, as I'm speaking, is our token gesture to the countryside scene. It's based on a sort of Great Western small country station somewhere between London and Birmingham. We've put a lot of effort here into trying to create some kind of visual depth on this aspect, and we work closely with a lady called Jenny Drake from Photogenic, who worked tirelessly with us to create these wonderful backdrops to give some depth. She actually moulded them and shaped them to fit in with the scale and distance of our layout. On this side, this is going to be Birmingham. It's a 4-road through station that's effectively the interchange between London and Manchester. As you can see, it's not complete, and it'll be the last section that we intend to work on. And that's probably going to be somewhere at the back end of 2006. Finally, going over to the other area, which is London. This station is a larger terminus than Manchester, and it's based on, in loose terms, Paddington. You'll see some similarities with the arch structure over here. And this will be the next area that we're going to be working on in terms of decorative and scenic completion. It operates in a very similar fashion to Manchester over here. You've got to manage your trains, manage the turnarounds, and interface with the computer control system. The important thing about this layout for us when we started was that we had a set of goals that we wanted to achieve. We recognised from the outset that the scale and enormity of what we wanted to run, we needed computer assistance. The vision that we had was that we would have many trains running around the layout in the background, so that you could be performing a shunting operation or doing a terminal manoeuvre, and there would be many trains going backwards and forwards, reliably working along. The other thing that was important was that we wanted to have flexibility in the number of operators that we could bring onto the layout. We quickly recognised we couldn't put 15 to 20 operators into this room, and therefore we needed to have computer control. But we also wanted to have the flexibility that if we had one operator, two operators, three operators, that we could have varying levels of interactive control with the computer either doing all of the work or cutting down. And that's what we've managed to achieve. How we went about finding that was we went across to North America to one of the NMRA shows and looked at all the different DCC manufacturers. So we chose Digitrax because they had a very clear vision about what they wanted to achieve with all the components that were necessary to allow us to have computer control. A fundamental component of that was that Digitrax have a bus architecture called LocoNet. And it's that bus architecture that allows all the devices that are plugged into the railway to either send instructions or to receive feedback from devices. So for example, an occupancy detector will send a message out, it'll broadcast it, and the signal display boards, they respond by displaying LEDs. The signal systems that are independent of the computer, they see it as well, and they set signals to red because they believe the track to be occupied. The computer program also will slow trains down because it says that the route ahead isn't clear. So it's a very powerful system.